Caro, Caro, everyone from the Warrior Priesthood. Hope everyone is doing well. Blessings, 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 Black Media Takeout. Blessings, everyone that is there. Caro, wishing everyone strength, good health, and abundance of wealth. Because, like always, the road is open. Because every day is a ritual for growth and the opportunity to build and create. Greetings, greetings. Greetings, greetings everybody. And most definitely, because like we know, we are the masters of our destiny, the architects of our future. We are fully equipped to deal with all our challenges. We build out of chaos and create out of destruction because our confidence is our strongest weapon and our emotional maturity is unparalleled. We don't look for trouble, but if it comes, we deal with it decisively because we are the warrior priesthood. We live life spiritually and physically, approach life physically and spiritually because we are the warrior priesthood. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Ajay, good morning to you. Ajay of the ocean who covers the cloth. Ajay, the one whose rich offerings, where the young become elders, the elders become useful again through Ajay, through wealth. It is through wealth that ones we greet upon rising. It is Ajay who we salute as we wake. It is Ajay who we salute. Even before they say we salute Orunmila, we salute Ajay. You are the one who bring fine cloths. You are the one who bring precious adornments. I say, you are the one who provide countless royal silks and garments that shines brilliantly. Ajay, the ancient Orisha wealth. Let me have you in my hands. Let us have you in our hands and not around our neck as a burden. Ajay, make our home a place of plenty. Make our surroundings a place of abundance. Continue to let us live within the culture of abundance. Ajay, you have wakeness. You have awoke in goodness today. I say, why? I say, Oludumare. I say. So, what's a better topic? It's Sunday. Man, I appreciate everyone that's on, for the first. This is the first official underground spiritual game. So we're going to look back on today, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and understand that we are pioneers because we all are pioneers because we are here for the first time. And this is something that I am grateful to have everyone here. And you should be grateful as well because each and every one of us is building something. Each and every one of us is empowering others, within that culture of abundance landscape. Being within that culture, this is a culture of abundance platform. So for us to be here, for the first YouTube live event is something big. So, and I'm grateful for that. At Couche, I'm grateful for y'all here, and I'm grateful for we can continue and then be able to look on where we at, and as well as where we will continue to grow. I say so within that concept. Today I want to speak about the topic is about securing and maintaining abundance. Securing and maintaining abundance. As warrior priesthood, we know one of the things that is that our mission is to empower others to live in abundance spiritually, mentally, and as well as materially. And we speak of this abundance, or we speak of maintaining this abundance through having that alignment. It is through that alignment that give us that abundance, because we understand that before before we was even born, our ancestors chose where we going to be. And our Ori, through our Ori, it chose our highest destiny. It chose uh, for us to live within that scope of abundance. Our Ori chose for us to live within that peripheral of prosperity. So, as our mission to empower others, ourselves must be empowered, and ourselves must be able to uphold, maintain that abundance, because the abundance is natural. The only way that they take us out of that scope of abundance is through propaganda, is it through manipulation, is to making us feel is that we don't have a choice, is to making us feel that we are stuck in the situation that we are in because of our pigmentation, because of where we was born, because of what our ancestors went through coming to this country, or for what our ancestors went through for whatever they were. So from that standpoint, that's the only way, is through that mental spell, or through that spiritual warfare. Because when we think about it, manipulation is a form of spiritual warfare. So when they can get us out that mindset that, okay, that abundance is guaranteed, that a quality of life starts from here and not from the things that we see on TV shows, not from these kids living in the quality of life that is high, but watching Instagram, watching TikTok, and now they believing that, oh, they have to have this to be happy. So it's always a quality of life versus that income illusion. It's that quality of life versus that social media illusion. I was speaking to a some fellas the other day in the barbershop. So, when we go to the barbershop, kind of go to the barbershop 2 times a week, get up on my cutting game just to watch, to hear what's talk going on. But, in the barbershop, you always going to have someone who's, you're going to have the devil advocate. And that's only natural, right? So, this particular topic we were speaking about was how we go to other countries, and it's nice. So, and how we go to other countries and we wish. I was talking to a brother, say, man, yeah, man, I want to go to Ghana, but my wife don't want to go because of what's the situation happening in the world. And I reassured him. I say, I don't think it's affecting the flights going there. Maybe the prices, but last time I checked the prices were still good. So, a long story short, you had someone else, about like 5 of us in there. And he was like, one thing about it, we talk about all places good overseas, but at the end of the day, we always going to come back to United States. Are we going to always come back to a home? And hey, that's kind of like a trick statement, because obviously if somewhere you're home and you have family there, and if you have roots, plenty of people move though overseas, but a lot of times you're going to gravitate because these are your roots. This is where your home, this is where your people at, especially if you got something established. But the conversation went to the point where he was saying, okay, wealth, income is much more here than any other place. And we're not going to get into the detail, because he was like, you can have this much rent, this much car payment, this much this, and you rich. Because he was describing being rich, or having prosperity in the form of how much money or how much debt you had. Maybe he was describing it, how much debt that you have. But I was explaining to him that how much income you make doesn't determine your quality of life, because sometimes you see things that is overpriced, but it's an illusion, because it's not worth that much. But it may make you feel gratified that you spend that much money, but it's not worth that much. So I went to tell him that I done been to countries, I done seen YouTube of people who may not have $1 million, 200,000, 100,000 in a bank account, but they have land, they have animals, and they live in a high quality of life. So when we speak about wealth, we understand that money is junior sibling to wealth, because we could get put in this trick. So we have to have this discussion first before we even talk about beholding and maintaining abundance, because people just think about, upholding and maintaining a bank account. But that's not necessarily so, because when we speak about maintaining that abundance, of upholding that prosperity, we talking about the level of fulfillment, the level of joy, the quality of time that we have with our family, the quality of time that we have with our friends, the quality of time that we have with ourselves. Sometimes in America now, that was a way that we ranked prosperity, then a lot of us would be poor in that sense. And so, just to give you an understanding, because I always have to approach this subject before I speak about abundance, because we know that from a Western standpoint, or from the social media perspective, or what's up, we speak about abundance and prosperity as how much money you have, without relating it to the quality of life. We're not knocking whoa, because whoa is a force that needs to be honored. So we're not knocking money, but money without having the moment, the time to do the things that you need to do to enjoy life, does not bring that quality of life that you need. I say, I say, you're right. Many will be in deficit in time with self, family, and friends. I say, wow, I say, yeah, Nandi, thank you. So I do pray. So that's what we speaking about when we talk about abundance and wealth. We speaking about fulfillment. We speaking about having that mind where you are in a state of enjoyment with your life, because that's the only time and the only place where we can then approach elevation. That's the only time. So securing abundance securing abundance and securing the understanding that um that we want this quality that we have. We want this quality of life. It starts with first with having dignity of one character. And that's what something we call, you know, self-respect. I'm gonna put it this way. You know, within this culture, and particularly within, maybe I could say within the last, I don't know, just from my perspective, I'm gonna say within the last 30 years that I know, you know, Iwa Pele. This is a saying that's coming out, and they translate it as having good character. And they say that we must have good character, you know, whichever this good is meaning. But I'm going to define what this good is. I'm going to define what this good means. And that is the first aspect of abundance, because this good character is basically telling us that our character is part of our value, our character. Because we have to understand, if we respect ourselves and if we respect who we are, for one, we're never going to stay in that position, or that stuck position, or in that quagmire, because we always will try to rise, because we will have that dignity of oneself. So one of the ways that we can get to make us feel like we don't have this is that, you are a second class citizen. One of the ways that they can make us forget that you or we don't have this dignity of who we are as a people, as a person, regardless of what your ethnic group is, when you begin to look at others and say, they got white privilege, and not understanding that the privilege you have. So the first thing in this peripheral, you know, as time change, also our minds have to elevate. That's the process of having dignity of one's character, right? That's the process of having self-respect, because you will always elevate. So we still stuck in the quagmire from the 1960s. We still stuck in the quagmire from the 1920s. We still stuck in the quagmire that dates bike, and not understanding that within that quagmire is also powerful elements for us to rise. How will we be able to see that abundance? How will we be able to secure that abundance? So when we speak about elevation, that is good character. Good character is self-elevation. Good character is having integrity, and to not fall for the okey doke every time. And it doesn't matter what our ages are. The elevation, some people elevate slower than others. I used to say that it pays to be a late bloomer, because sometimes it does. It pays to be a late bloomer. But the elevation must come. The elevation can come when we in our 80s, but the elevation must come if we are securing that abundance and trying to maintain it. And don't get it twisted when you think about this good character concept, because when we think about our character is part of our value, think about this, that it it consume a whole bunch of concepts, and it's include a whole bunch of other things as well. Because if you respect yourself, how can you not respect others? If you respect yourself, How will you allow others to disrespect you? If you respect yourself, how could you maintain and hold on to that abundance? If you're not if you're not respecting yourself, you cannot maintain and hold on to that abundance, because this abundance comes from fulfillment and understanding. People speak about salvation. People will tell you that these things starts from religious perceptions, religious understandings that meant to get us out the ability that we have dignity. This come from religious understandings, religious precepts that tell us that we is born with a sin, and this sin cannot be cured until we are gone from this earth. We are born with a sickness. We are born with a disease that there will be no hope. We will have no hope, no curable. Is no cure for the disease that we are born with until we leave this earth. If we falling for that, if we understanding that, then guess what? We'll be the bottom of the totem pole, because we'll understand deliverance. Our only deliverance is when we pass, not understanding our salvation, our preservation on this earth, our preservation to succeed on this earth comes to the fact that we were I or we chose our highest destiny. We chose our destiny to be fulfilled. And as long as we have that alignment, securing that abundance is having that proper alignment. Because once we have that alignment, then we begin to eradicate them false stereotypes. The false stereotypes, not understanding that, then we begin to eradicate the emotional immaturity that comes from them false stereotypes. Because them spirits, rather the ones on the right or the ones on the left, believe me, they can move through our emotions. They can move through how we understand what's going on, how we understand our awareness. So it's important that we move in that elevated mindset, understanding that our destiny has already been chose. So we know that our blessings will continue to find us regardless. Where you think they get these sayings that says, uh, just don't quit? That's just a way, an unspiritual way to say that your blessings will always find you. Where you get them? Where you think they get them signs? The signs from that? Or if you fall, just get back up. If you stumble, don't fall. And if you fall, land on your back so you can see what's up and so you can get up. Our blessings, your blessings, my blessings, they will always find us. If people, if anyone can convince me that we're not worth it, then guess what? That whole concept, the whole understanding of upholding and maintaining abundance and living within that culture of abundance, joining us in the midst of prosperity goes out the door. If it make you feel like you a victim through your gender, make it through your biological sex, this whole thing goes out the window. I never really understood why people blame things on themselves that's done to them. Why? No, it's never. It's the mindset of the person that's done it. You can never put that energy on yourself. Because once we begin to put this energy on ourselves, the prosperity and abundance, the fulfillment goes out the window. And then to maintain that abundance, to uphold and maintain that abundance, we can't outrun our protection. We can't outrun our protection. They got a saying where we have to secure the bag. Often we get in situations where when things go good, we feel like, oh, we won't have to communicate with the ancestors these few days. Oh, we get lazy because we get content from this fulfillment. Oh, we don't have to go to the shrines. Oh, we don't have to uh praise Ifa, praise Aj. We don't have to do a bow unless we get caught up in that rat race. Where now it's like if it's not one thing, that's that issue energy. If it's not one thing, it's another. So guess what happens then? You don't have time to do what is required. So therefore now we outrunning our protection. You can't have no abundance without being protected. Believe it. Spiritually first, even physically. Because I guarantee everyone lock their doors at night. Some people don't like to talk about firearms within spirituality. But I guarantee you lock your doors at night. But you cannot have no abundance and wealth without securing that bag. But the guidance of Ifa is our protection because the guidance of Ifa give us that insight, give us that knowledge, give us that understanding, and above all, it's going to give us that awareness of things that we need to look out for, and that is important. And Ìrẹtè Alájé. And we've been talking about Ìrẹtè Alájé for the last month. And we're probably going to talk about Ìrẹtè Alájé for 6 more months, maybe 12 more months, because Ìrẹtè Alájé is the Odu of wealth and it's the richest Odu. And when we understand this Odu, we get ultimate fulfillment. When we wrap our mind around this Odu, prosperity become our best friend, no doubt. So there was a time when three, in the Retail Alájé, they speak of a time when it was three friends that they was together. And their name was Alara, Ajero, and Owarangun. And they all, was making money. They all had a place in the market where they was getting gold for cheap and they was selling this gold. And then they kind of, when things was getting real good for them, they kind of realized that things began to people, things began to move sideways for them. But they went to try to deal with the situation themselves. So they got together and they plotted on how, we can get the gold, the connection, because the connection stopped and they still had some gold left, but they wasn't able necessarily to get off of it. But because things was doing, people was talking about them, about how they was overpricing what they had. So of course, they went for a EFA consultation. So while they was going to the EFA consultation, the IWO mentioned to them that, okay, this is what is happening. You have to receive this protection and you have to receive, he told them, Listen, your movements. You have to be aware of your movements. He told them, we're going to have to cut through this evil, what's going on, and you have to be protected by the elders of the night, with some called Iyamin, with some called the mothers of the night. You have to be protected by the mothers of the night. But he say, going through this process, you're gonna have to put I say within you. We're gonna have to do certain things to you, and they was like, nah, that's too much. So you told us we have to be careful and watch our surroundings. So because they understand that it was a plot on them from someone who they knew closely that was in the shop down the street to rob them. So once they got that information, that's all they needed to know. They didn't want to do the other things for protection because they had that information. So a capo was someone down the other direction from them. He was experiencing the same thing. Okay, robbers, bandits is in the area. They know, and he feel like that he is next. So he go get the reading. The owl, the Babalawo, told him to do the exact same thing. You have to appease the elders of the night. You have to appease the Iyami. You have to appease the mothers. And also, you have to do this specific ritual for this specific ritual for your movements, for security. And he did it all. Now, the three friends who got the shop all alone, they thinking Okapo is the one who is trying to get them. So they keeping their eyes on a capo. But a capo wasn't the one. The guys next to them was looking to rob a capo. But they seen that they was watching a capo and wasn't expecting. So they got robbed and they got everything took. And then a capo maintained everything he had because he was able to do what was required. So, what we understand is this: when we refuse spiritual protection, it is taboo to refuse spiritual protection. That's what Ìrẹtè Alájé speaks about. Oftentimes, if we get readings and some of these things, and we think that we are aware of what's going on, okay, we get something from a Babalawo. Babalawo says this. Okay, we like, okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, I don't have to do anything. But that doesn't mean anything if we're not doing the spiritual protection that is required. So when we speak about this protection, a person that who is not protected cannot fully hold abundance. So when we talk about us, we speak about building out of chaos, creating out of destruction. We speak about the masters of our destiny, being the architects of our future. We cannot forget this comes with a spiritual alignment. And this spiritual alignment, and when we speak about abundance, we cannot have it without being spiritually protected. This spiritual protection is key. This our abundance, our ability to dwell within that cultural abundance, our ability to have others to come with us in the midst of prosperity is not about chance, but it's about humility. It's about being attentive, and it's about us willing to submit to wisdom that's greater than ourselves. It's taboo to move careless because then you're moving without protection. It's taboo to operate unprotected. It's taboo to neglect the spiritual work that maintains alignment. It's taboo. So often when we find ourselves falling, it doesn't matter what we obtain, these knowledge and understanding, the knowledge that we attain, if it's not that we have to be spiritually protected, then guess what? We lapsing and we missing. Because for us to uphold and maintain that spiritual abundance, we have to have that dignity for ourselves to understand that we have to be protected and that we have to maintain that alignment because it's not guaranteed. I think that was what January 2024. That's when I got inducted into the Gallaudet Society. The Gallaudet Society of Aruba, Ota. And the biggest thing, the greatest thing I got out of that induction, out of that ceremonious, spiritual occasion were the level of protection that I felt. And in regardless with initiations, in regardless with rituals, it was the level of protection. I want to say when they speak about the elders of the night, the mothers of the night, the Iyamin, because within this verse in the Odu, it says that we have to appease. You have to appease them. Because the thing about it, when we are not under their wings, not not under their guidance, we are open to the chaos. We are open to the destructive forces, the alienated forces that moves about. We know chaos in this world. We know chaos is not going anywhere. It has a right to be here just like we. But for us to build out the chaos, for us to create out of destruction, we need that protection. So to uphold and maintain abundance, we cannot run away from our protection. And often we abandon abundance by running away from our protection, by running away from our ancestors, by running away from our daily devotionals, by running away what is required. Ebo, Ebo, Bibo, running away from these things. That is the way you are guaranteed to abandon our abundance. There's no doubt. So for me, going and getting inducted was into Gallaudet, I understood the level of protection and it brought back and it made so much sense to me to understanding on what this level of protection can bring. But let's not get it twisted. Once we receive protection, we have to continue because it is when we get too caught up in the moments where we feel like everything is going well then we lose our attentiveness. Our attentiveness. We lose our humility, and then we forget. We choose not to submit to that understanding, to Ifa, that knowledge and wisdom that is greater than ours. I say, why? I say, Oludumare. So just having that understanding to uphold and maintain abundance as warrior priesthood, as students of Ifa, as Isheshe devotees, we understand that our protection is key. These protections can start from the simple things early in the morning, speaking to our Ori. Speaking to our Ori. These protection can start simple in the morning, saluting our ancestors with water in the morning, because this is attentiveness, this is humility that allows us the ability to submit to that greater understanding than ours, which is also a form of integrity. So it was a capo who did what was required and secured the bag because he didn't run away from his protection. And it was the other three who, because they felt like they knew what was going on, because the owl told them to be careful, that all they have to do is be careful and not actually do what it takes in regards to protect themselves spiritually, to move that energy. Because when we perform these rituals, it's sort of like we opening unseen doors within our mental space that assist us in seeing things that everybody is not going to see. You're going to be picking up stuff that everybody is not going to pick up. So it is Ajay who we salute. It is Ajay who we honor. It is Ajay who we salute early in the morning for abundance, for prosperity, and for all those things that give us good life and give us that high quality of life. It is Ajay. We salute you. We honor you within that culture of abundance. Ashe wa, Ashe Olu Dumare. So I thank everyone for coming out and being involved in this first episode of the Underground Spiritual Game, because it is a moment that will we will look back on, and we would know that we took part, as well as we were grateful. Eriwoya, Eriwoya, Ayapo, Ayato, Ayate, Ayamo, Eriwo Shupe, Oju, Olurumare. Ibalumare, Oba, Gate Free Beti, Iba Kora, Iba Shera, Iba Erumleju Kotun, Iba Bumoleju Kosi, Iba Perewo, Iba Pereshe, Iba Orunmila, Jana, Okuren Kukuru, Oke Okiti, Okoro Finish Boom, Elere Pin, Abi the Maroon be a kun ani. To, to, to. Baba Petru Town, Small Baba Get to Community, Witness to Creation, Second Rank Do Damari, Bagonwa, Oyoku, Oko, Shada Baba, Small Station Man without wisdom, great historian, Ife, Orisha changes ill luck to good luck. He that manifests more than charms and medicine, a pokey the breast side one, small cinder being who falls and doesn't get broken. He that has abundant meat, no need to eat bones or do baba. He that wear charm starred garments, a risha. Ajay. He that wakes up early in the morning to minister to people. The mystic one that eats red palm oil and don't turn red. He that blows the great elephant tusk. Great reverence, great reverence, great reverence. Barpetu, Baba, Kikoreo, Keo, Giti, Ellery, Pin, EPKT, Odumare, Pagunwa, Oko, Oyoku, Baba, Eshu, Dara, Ofunita, Kyomo, Kyola, Orisha, Ko, Aje, Atiti, Ogun, Labayogun, Ajolubadu, Orun, Onewaye, Oku, Repoto, no Yun, Eduoloja, Rigalo, Iba, To. If it is wealth, let us have more than others, or Ifa, in the presence of the farmer. And I believe it's covered the whole farmland, right in the farmer's presence. If it is dressing materials, those things that we need to obtain abundance and prosperity, let us have more than our others, or Ifa, in the presence of the farmer. And I believe it's covered the whole farmland, right in the farmer's presence. Or Ifa, we pray that tomorrow will be better than our day. We pray, Father, that our day is always better than our yesterday. We pray that wherever our feet goes, our Ori have a place, find a place to succeed, that our Ori continue to fight for us, that our Ori would never lose its way, that many people will fight for us. People that we don't know will come and defend our cause. I say, we pray that the Orishas will continue to fight for us. The Orunmila will continue to fight for us. The Orisha, the Orunmila, they will get together. They will combine ways on how to bring us abundance. We will find us how to bring prosperities in our life. We pray. I say, I say, Edumare. We pray that what is working for us will never go against us, but it will continue to go in our favor. We pray that those things that even work against us, if it's necessary, that they begin to work for us. I say, we pray that whatever our hands touch, they succeed. We pray that our eyes be able to see opportunity when others see despair. We pray that everything that we say is abundance and prosperity, that our tongue, it is like honey, it is a magnet that attract good things. Success will know us by our first name. Victory will know us by our first name. Abundance will greet us in the morning. Prosperity will greet us in the afternoon. And a rainbow will greet us in the evening. That our blessings will continue to find us, regardless of what the situation may be. Our blessings will never lose its way. But blessings will know us by our first name. Our blessings will never lack. Our money will never lack. Our success will never lack. But our Aku, the greatest of Ire, Aku, longevity will remain with us. So when we reach success, we will continue to be successful, that we will continue to be fulfilled. I say, why? I say, Olodumare, Ojankoro Dube, our house is very far. If death is coming, please bid it farewell. Ojankoro Dube, our house is very far. If affliction, contention, and losses, all these things are coming, please bid it farewell. Ojankoro Dube, our house is very, very, very close. I say, if Irebobo is going about, we pray that we welcome it comes in, we let it in. The day we see any form of negativity, the day we see EB, the day we see distractions, the day our head, the energy that comes to make our head harden is the day it would disappear. But the day we see E-Ray, the day we see abundance, the day we see prosperity, is the day it will be accepted. Ojo ribini biwole, ijo rainy day, acceptable, arutable, acceptable, arriba chushe. To, I say, be. So, like always, a double to everyone that is here and to everyone that has lasted. May our weekends be blessed. May our new week be enjoyed. We will meet again tomorrow morning on Zoom at for that priestly dialing at 8 a.m. Adabo Oba Oto is my prayer for everyone. Adabo, Adabo, Adabo.